This is OECS TV, linking our islands. OECS TV. Yes, Dominica got the process started, the dialogue with OECS nationals on the proposed OECS Economic Union, the next step in the integration of OECS member states. OECS Chairman, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit of Dominica, hosted the launch, emphasizing the critical importance of an OECS economic union at this time and reminding the audience of the major features of the process.
What I wish to point out is that the economic union represents the final stages in the process of regional integration. I have already drawn your attention to some of the benefits that have accrued to us from the integration process. The main objective of the economic union is to create a single economic and financial space comprising participating member states, and by so doing, promote their greater growth and development. The establishment of a single economic and financial space requires a free movement of labor, the free circulation of goods, the right of establishment, and freedom to trade in services to be guaranteed to the nationals of participating states. With respect to the free movement of labor, the draft treaty provides for the abolition of discrimination based on nationality between workers of the member states as regards employment, remuneration, and conditions of work and employment. In effect, it grants persons the right to move freely within the territory of a member state to accept offers of employment. Similarly, goods produced within the economic union will be entitled to move freely within the union.
Deeper integration is being built on a history of successful performances by OECS institutions, among them a central bank, a court system, telecommunications and a civil aviation regulatory bodies, and an OECS secretariat. OECS Director General Dr. Len Ishmael told the audience of some of the benefits.
Through the PPS, for example, member states have been able to drastically reduce the price of medicines by as much as 38% over the last 15 years. In 2007, for example, the PPS saved the 9 member states over $3 million on pharmaceutical purchases of $14.5 million, returning all of those savings back home. Through ECTEL, competition has been introduced into the OECS, drastically reducing the cost of overseas calls, allowing for the entry of new suppliers, reducing the cost of doing business in this region, and in the process, making the cell phone perhaps the most ubiquitous personal item on all of our streets.
Dr. Ishmael says the proposed union will build on the OECS successes, allowing the sub-region to better seek its global interests and face international challenges.
The limited physical and market space in each OECS member state can only provide what we will describe as cramped quarters for business development, unless means can be found to jointly develop and market OECS products and services both within the OECS and internationally. Economic union provides the opportunity for the development of these mechanisms. It provides a larger economic space, it will enlarge our domestic market, allows for greater access to technology, capital, and a greater freedom of movement of all types of labor.
Chairman of the task force set up by governments to lead the process, Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Sir Dwight Venner, wants the people to use the consultation process to fashion a vision for their region.
We must first of all have a collective vision of what we would like our islands to be, both collectively and as individual states in the future. A suggestion would be that the OECS could be, quote, a cohesive and coordinated collection of states which are closely integrated politically and economically in order to be an area of peace, tranquility, and harmony, where things function, for example, utilities and infrastructure. Service is excellent, both in the public and private sectors, and opportunities abound for personal and entrepreneurial development in a clean and pristine environment. In other words, we have to project what state we would like to live in these places.
Members of the audience also had their chance to have a say. Here's a sample of the questions, comments, and the suggestions.
As a regionalist, when the Federation collapsed, I have always regretted the fact that what's now the OECS states chose to go into independence separately rather than as a unit. I think that was a fundamental error. Another fundamental error that we made, I think, was the manner in which we have tied up our constitutional arrangements so tightly that it's difficult to change them.
We need to harmonize legislation as a matter of urgency that deals with interests in real property et al. I know there could be difficulties constitutional otherwise in some of the islands, but those islands who could introduce like legislations initially and immediately, we should move to phase them in so that we have harmonization of collateral securities.
So my question then is, what is being put in place to ensure that the responsible agencies carry out implement the arrangements? When an arrangement has been given assent to, what will happen at the level of implementation?
One welcomes the introduction of the new organs, notably the authority being able now to pass legislation. What I don't see, and perhaps we need to spend some time on, is just how exactly this is going to work, and in particular, once the heads have in fact passed the legislation, implementation issues and enforcement at the national level.
But one of my concerns traveling through the OECS is the difficulty of moving around. If we're going to integrate and you're going to have an OECS union, by George, they should remove all impediments for us to move from country to country.
And so it's on to national launches in Antigua, Barbuda, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Be sure to be there.
Henderson. And just as my music helps to inspire togetherness in our region, governments are further pooling resources to strengthen the OECS into an economic union. So my OECS brothers and sisters, get ready to have your say on a new economic union treaty. Yes, our islands share a strong currency, telecommunication bodies, sporting activities, a model pharmaceutical service, and other achievements. Now a new treaty has been drafted, and member governments have signed the declaration of intent to have that treaty implemented following full public discussion. So get your community ready for discussions to ensure that economic union works for us. Let us talk about free movement of people, goods and services, and a stronger presence on the world stage. Look out for community discussions near you. OECS Economic Union, making the region stronger.
This is OECS TV, linking our islands. OECS TV.